Okay.
Very tight. Let's see. Okay. That's onegaishimasu. Okay, we'll do a little quick warm up. Just listen to the audio. Okay, let's start a little bit with the neck. Just rolling front and back. Down and up. Okay, to the sides. Here to shoulder. Just rolling the shoulders. And forwards. Alternating them. Okay, just making a figure of 8 for the arm. Okay, working at the sides. And the other side. And again. And change. Okay, come to the hips. And change. And knees. Stretching them back a little bit. And down. Back. Okay, just 1 foot forward. Keep the feet parallel. Keep going in. Good. The main thing is the hips are square in this case, just stretching down. Right through the back of the leg. And exchange sides. That's a bad angle. Okay, coming down a little bit further. Just keeping the back leg straight, but bending now into the front hip. You need to use the hands on the leg. The leg's pretty much straight out the back. And change. Okay, going down a little bit further, taking the knee down, flat of the back foot. in the ground, just stretch into the front hip. Change. So. Okay, just coming back up. Just loosen the legs up side to side. And just holding one side. Other side. Coming down to the toes. So, and the other side if you can. Just that. Good. Both legs straight out. A little bit wider. Hands on the same line. See if you can press the palms into the ground. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, just taking the elbows down to the ground. And if you can stay that, but just lock the hands behind the back. Bring them up above the back. And just sit into it. Okay, just walking the hands forward a little bit. Bring the feet together as well. I'm just going to kind of tread through the ankles. Just pressing. And then just coming through with the legs, with the knees, sorry. Bring them up. Nice, slow. Good. Okay, just coming down. We're just coming into here like a butterfly stretch. Quite light. Chest into the feet now, so as if you were leaning the chest over. A little bit deeper into the hip. Good. And just take one side out, bend the other. Sit into it a little bit. And just really going to draw the body to the foot. And release it. You can see the side. Just sit into it, get the legs straight. Draw the body over. Okay, feet both out. Yeah. You're going to first stretch up, stretch the body out, and then draw the chest forwards to the toes. Good, release it. I'm just going to bring the feet over to the back, just as high as you can go, as far as you can go. If you can get to the back, go for it. Sit into it, take a few breaths. Slowly back. I'm just going to rock down the spine. And don't go onto the head, take it nice and slow. If you want to tuck the knees to the chest, so you're in this kind of position, and just roll back. Keep the neck long, but the chin's going towards the chest as you go down. So no weight on the top of the spine. Just a few. One more. Good. And then just take a side. So one side folded. You're going to use the hands, go back, over, and coming up. Back, and coming up. Allow the legs to really drive the movement. So from the hip, and kick them forward, kick them back. And the arms just give direction. You're really working the side of the body now. From the hip to the shoulder, and then back. About 10 more. And good. Okay, slowly coming back up. Good. So, I'm just sticking the hands out. Shake them front and back. Shake the feet, legs. Hold the arms. And just go to the whole leg. And we slowly feel the weight settle down right into the feet until everything pulls down through the ground. There we go. Good. Okay. Great. Take a bucket. Okay, so we're going to go straight in with the Suburi, just number one, and we'll run through a kind of short set of the 7. So we won't do the whole 7, just the select ones which help us for the KUMITACHI work. So just starting with number 1, straight in, finding the back, cutting down. Okay. Good. So in this case, just looking at it in terms of the function of the movement, even though this is really an exercise, it's a really a preparation for this last cut that you get in the kumitachi, where you're going to kind of finish through. So it's a kind of wedging percussive thing. So just get the feeling like this. You get the back like this, and really feel that everything sinks down through. And there's a really feeling of like wedging the whole body through a very fine point. And that means that everything from this point, from this being quite wide, from this first moment, everything's going to start to narrow down. So it's got this kind of quality. So this kind of quality. So just feel that moment's very heavy. And it's what the main problem people have in the kumitachi is that they wait for this point to activate the center. And that's too late. So the center needs to be powering through from the very beginning of that movement. So that as I receive the strike, the center and the weight of the body is being like pressed through. If I wait to the end to the impact, it's too late. So get a sense that what you're doing is like this. Body's open, and then I engage the center totally through it. Engage the center, and then presses through it. So that gives you a kind of weight in the cut. So just look for basically weight through the whole cut, and not just at the end of the cut. Yeah. The focus in this case is just catching, but the focus isn't adding weight or adding power. The power is going to come from the ground and from the hips. And that whole like posterior chain right up from the spine. That's it. Yeah, good. That's it, nice. 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 Good. And see if you can get the same thing, the same focus in the bokken in this part is also hitting the ground again. So I say this a lot, but it's like when you get this feeling, I can get taken away with the sword. This gets pulled out. Now, if this is the center's on ground, it's not really hitting the floor. The center will get pulled out. And as I do these in the kumitachi, I get something like this. The center's going to get pulled out. I get drawn into the person. So I just want the feeling in this case that I'm just going to hit the ground with the body. So again, that kind of heaviness, that weight is going to hit the ground too. Hit the ground. So just get that feeling. It's actually the same thing. The focus here, out, and the weight entering the ground. Just get this sense. That. That's that. And the cut can be really calm, but really very effective. Yeah, that's it. Yo, oh, good. Good, so we're going to number 2, second suguri. You roll back, raise the sword up, and then cutting through. This is really about passing weight forward now. So rolling back, find the Joden Kamai to the back, pressing the body through. With the same kind of quality of heaviness. Underneath the sword, and pressing through. Good. Nice. So usually the main issue in number 2 is this, watch for this issue. So you come here, I'm in this position, and now what I want to do from this high position is enter everything down, forward and down into the ground. Now, if as I come through, I do this, I'm bringing the center of the body up, so all the center weight goes up, and then I've got to find the ground again. So just watch this movement. You can also do this move like this, here, this. So I've got the back here, and then I'm really just in the ground, and then I just pass through the foot this way. So you can do this as a kind of exercise just to get the feeling of, as I find the back, that's not a pull-up, it's a sinking down. And then all I do is wheel through the ground with the weight. So the whole weight of the body always is going to stay down. This, this. So just notice that feeling. You don't want to kind of bob the weight up and down. The feeling is always that the ground's just underneath and the weight's constantly sinking down. Yeah. Get a feeling for that. You do it. It's basically to keep the weight of the body. And the weight's how I'm going to kind of wedge through someone. That's how I'm going to carry the attack over. The power of the attack's not going to come from the arms kind of pushing the sword through, but from the whole weight of channeling the whole weight of the body through the sword. So you got however many kilos you weigh passing through the sword, and I need to be pretty grounded to do that. That's it, Tom. That's it. Boom. Yeah. Great. And it's not only about weight; it's about efficiency. I just don't want to do that extra movement where the center goes up. So it's just trying to pass the sword, pass the body through directly. Yeah. But it asks a lot of the hips to kind of be open all the time. So that's the kind of trick. Got it. Okay, we're going to number 4. Normally I go into 5, but it's just to get the hip work. You're gonna go here, this in Shomanuchi, and then just pass through. Just pass through. Okay, again, the same kind of idea. I want the weight to sink down. Sink down. You go through. So every time you find the cut with the step, find the back. Find the back. And then find the back here. Back. Back. So just think constantly back and down. Back, down. Back and down. So all the weight, all the weight's coming from the ground, and all the power's coming from the back of the body. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Nice. Okay, great. Good, so we go straight into number 5, and then what you're doing now is a yokonuchi. So this is the most useful in terms of the kumitachi, in terms of the attacking role. So you go from here straight from the back, in, find the yokonuchi. Just do this really down the line. You do 2 or 3 depending on the space. You rotate to the back. This one's a shomanuchi, and then you go straight into yoko. Yokomen. Yokomen. Shoman to rotate. Yokomen. Yokomen.
Michael,
Yeah.
when you say on the line, do you mean your center or the sword?
Well, technically, it depends what you mean on the sword, but the line, the point where I would hit is on the center. You see that? But the sword's being delivered at a diagonal, so it's not technically on the line. But the point when I'm hitting the center point, my center point, and my center of mass is on the line. And that means that the footwork's going to be down the line too. So that means that I'm not going to deviate off the line with the feet. So it's mainly the footwork, that the footwork's going to follow the line. And by that, the center of mass is going to follow the line as well. But the sword technically is not really down the line because it's not a shomuchi, so it needs to have that. Okay, and this is what you've got to think of the 𝒊𝒏𝒈. If in preparation for 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 work, you've got to think of it a bit more practically. So the 𝒊𝒏𝒈 have a tendency to be a bit abstract. So I can do things like, and I can get away with these kind of things. I can get away with those. As soon as you go into partner work, you can't get away with that kind of stuff, especially KUMITACHI work, because you will just, if we train in the right way, that will just be kind of punished. And I mean, just, you won't be able to make the blend. It means you won't get hurt, but it means you can't do the form. So when you do these KUMITACHI and you do the 𝒊𝒏𝒈 form, really get a sense that this is one thing coming through. So you've really got to have in mind that this is an attack. You're doing it straight down the line, but it needs to be one thing coming through. So there's a slightly different focus in this case. This is where the 𝒊𝒏𝒈, this is how the 𝒊𝒏𝒈 is anyway, but we have a tendency to kind of make it more something like this. So just have the sense this is one thing, one cut. And really focus on the idea of weight and really function and efficiency. So try and make it one thing and see it as really as an attack, not just a kind of pattern of movement. It's now really like this is really a practical attack. This is how I would really attack someone. But I wouldn't do it down the line. That would be a bit, unless they were totally open, then I would do it down the line. But yeah, just see if you can make it one thing. And it's not about speed, it's about efficiency. So it's about blending the hands, the feet together. So you can do this really slow, but it's trying to make it one thing. And so, that's it. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, okay, great. So what this reveals doing as one thing is where the body's breaking up. So just notice things like this now. So what I need to do in terms of doing it as one thing, I need the whole body to be engaging straight away. So the whole body needs to go boom, and straight away. So I can't hang around when I do the attack. I need to attack and already have gone. So the decision to attack or the thought to attack and the movement is the same thing. It's not that I go like here and then I go, now I attack, and then I go. It's got to be the same thing. So you've got to go in posture here and then attack goes. So you've got to just give yourself pause. The problem with repetitious 𝒊𝒏𝒈 is you entrain a kind of thought, which is, this is the problem with unconscious learning or unconscious practice, because I start to think about other things. And in this case, really, you need to think that you can only think about the movement itself. So all the focus is just on being in the kamae and move. So that's, I'm not thinking about anything else. All I'm thinking about is the movement. And how do I make that movement so that it's one thing? Now that's difficult talking at the same time, but just getting an idea where you can do it like that. Done and boom. So just get this kind of feeling. This is where we talk really about the attack being pure and sincere, and this is kind of what we mean. We just mean it's just an attack. There's no kind of preloading. There's actually nothing before. It's just the attack. Yeah, that's it. Just goes. That's it. Good. Good. That's it. Good. Okay. Good. And then one more problem with this kind of training. Once I can get into that kind of training, apart from the body breaking up, it will start to do that. The other problem is that I start to get lost in the sword work. So it starts to become something like that. So the sword's pulling me out and I'm basically throwing the sword at the person. I may as well just literally throw the sword at the person. It would be more efficient. But if I'm throwing the sword out and trying to hold on to the sword, I'm basically pulling all the structure out. This would be very weak, very inefficient. So better just throw the sword out in that case. So in this case, really get a sense that you're really grounding and uniting the body together. So everything, again, it's going to land on the spot, and I'm really going to be grounded as I make the attack. Otherwise, the attack has no real kind of function. So you really need the sense of unifying the body. Anything I do which is like this, it just spins me out every time. So I can't ground that kind of cut. So really get a sense that what you're doing is that I'm really trying to ground, or better anchor the sword in the center, right through the spine. So just get this sense, and this is better than slow, but get the sense that you're here, and then the feeling is just going, anchor. Going, go, anchor. And it always goes back to that kind of stillness motion thing. So you really want to be still, and then go straight into motion, but really try and anchor the cut down. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And you can actually be very loose in the arms. You don't need to be quite so tight in the arms. You can be pretty loose. Just the point of focus when the arms need to kind of come into structure. The rest of the time, quite loose. That's it. Boom. There we go. Okay, good. Okay, so we just do this now as a bit of a set. I'm going to skip out number 7. Normally go to 7 and we do the Go-no-Ase, Shichi-Ase, all that kind of stuff. Just to make it really simple for today, we're just going to work with now the back and forward in Go-no-Ase. So we'll do first the attack. And now it's exactly the same, but what you're going to do is deviate off the line. So I'm going to come out the line and go here. And then if you've still got the line here, I'm still going to go off the line. So I'm going to go around and off the line. And then just come back. So just 2 attacks, and really imagine a line through the ground. If you've got a line, use it. But the body's now going to go off the line here, and then off the line here. So you've got these 2 wedges on off the line, but angled onto the line. So you're off, angling onto the line. Off the line, angling onto the line. There. Just give that a try. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Okay, so just watch it. You're going off the line, but you're going off directly, if this makes sense. So the Suburi work is teaching you how to use the hips correctly so that you're getting the hips to just go through this way. Now, when I go off the line, I don't now do this kind of hip work. So I'm not going around with the hips. So I'm still not doing that kind of hip work. I'm doing the same hip work, but I'm just angling it off. So it goes there. So I'm doing that hip work, but not that hip work, which goes around. So it's not a roundhouse. The Yokumen's not a roundhouse. It's direct, but I do it in a wedge. So get the sense that the hips are going to go here, and then the hips go here. So this is what makes the Yokumen a very good attack, a very efficient attack, because it's very quick and it's off at an angle. So I can direct the cut to the side of the person, which is exposed, but it's still direct. It's not really a round movement. That's it. And the best way to explore this is tighten the angle. Make the angle very tight off the line, and just make it. You can make it as big as you like, but as long as I can keep the hips in a kind of direct line. Oh, you're wedged. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the problem's the trail leg. Watch this. So I can get this hip in, and then the trail leg does something like that. This pulls me out totally. So I have zero power because I've got to think all my potential energy is going forward, down and forward, but it can't go swing out to the back. So this is like a leaky saburi or a leaky attack because it's all leaking to the back, swinging me out. So get the sense that that trail leg just meets the other one. Just meets the other one. So it's just gonna come with it, but it's not gonna swing out. So just watch on the trail leg. There. It just comes with me. There. Yeah, and this will give you a bit more balance through the cuts. Just give a few more and we'll move on. That's it. That's it. And the trail leg is there to catch the back hip so that the back hip can press through the cut. It's not just to kind of, just to be there. It's serving a purpose. Yeah, that's it. Got it. Okay, good. Yeah, got it. Great. Great. So you're just going to do the back side now. So the receiving side. So you draw the sword back now. You go like this. You go down the line, and then you wedge off. This is cutting. Your cut is off the line. So because the person's attacking here, the center is here. So I wedge it off in a yokumen this way. And then as I go back, I wedge it off in a yokumen this way. So just picture where the person is attacking you. They're not down the line, but they're off the line. And my cut needs to be a yokumen. So it needs to be yokumen to the center. Yokumen to the center. Just notice this. The footwork is down the line. But my focus is not. My focus is down the other person's center. Just take this nice and slow as you go back. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Just watch this. Yokomenuchi, just watch this. Don't do this. This is you're really off the body if I do that. So if I do that, this function, it can function as a block. So I can block like this, but I can't cut through the person's center like unless I do a kesagiri and I do that kind of motion. That functions for kesagiri, but for yokomenuchi, it won't really work. So when you do this, it comes here and then it goes here. So it's anchoring on my back hip. But it's not out here. This is pushing the sword out. So that works for a block, but the gono-ase back isn't a block. It's a cut through. It's a cut through the center. Cut through the center. So you need a kind of narrowing of the hips, but not there. This tends to happen on the left side because of the way the hands are. But just look, just watch it. Just check it yourself because I can be off the body. And if I am off the body, the cut has no kind of power. It will just be in the arms. That's it.
Michael, are you going to the line back?
Yeah, in this case, the feet are going to go follow. The feet are going to follow a line. So in this case, the feet are going to go here. This. Okay. This. But the angle of the hips is slightly shifted depending on where the attacker is. Yeah. But the feet are going to walk a backwards line. So I'm basically holding the line in this case as it goes, as you go back.
Okay.
Michael, but in every case, it's a yokumen, yeah?
This is a yokumen, yeah. So it's a yokumen because, yeah, I mean, it's really just, you can try it with the shomen yokumen. I know this is like a big debate. Some people have it, shomen meets yokumen. Just try it. So all I can say is try it. So if I try and meet a diagonal vectored force with a straight line, I will lose almost every time. So unless I do a trick. So I can trick it and I can go faster than the person, but this is breaking a rule of Awasa. So I can't go faster than the person. I need to meet them where they are. And in that case, I need to meet it with a yokumen. But it's to the center. That's the point. With the yokumen way, I cut them to the center. But it's being cut, I'm cutting them at an angle. But I'm not meeting the sword straight on. This is really a disaster. I mean, you can try it. But for me, it just doesn't work. But I mean, we've tried it really kind of let's say, vigorously tested. You can do it with plastic tubes and you just end up hitting each other with the shomen, but you can try it. I do advise trying it. Lots of fun.
And I have a question about the feet. Is it one step back and a slide back, or just one step back?
Yeah, you're going to slide the leg back. I mean, it depends. When you do this in a partner work, it depends on how much the person's coming in. But in general, I'm going to readjust the foot because I've got this position, and then I'm going to slide that foot back.
Okay.
That's going to that foot's going to meet it. I'm trying to show the feet clearer. But yeah, you're going to shift the feet. So you've got that, and that's the move we do when we finish the kumitachi. That move, where the front foot's got freedom to shift.
Okay.
So that. And in Gonowasa, you're just drawing back, so there's no kind of pull in. But
okay. Thank you.
Oh, good. That's it. Yeah. Good. Okay, good. So we'll just work on number 3 because it's actually the simplest kumitachi, and there's some less kind of different movements to come from it. So the attacking side's actually the same, so there's no real difference in the attacking side. All you're doing in this case is you're receiving this movement, which is a parry, and then you're going off to the side, and then you're cutting down. So the attack's actually the same, so we won't cover the attack. What we'll do is the defensive roll, or the uke roll. So you're here in this position. Now this is where I make a parry to the sword, so I'm creating a gap to make an opening. So what you're doing in this case is you're meeting the person, and then you're snapping the sword to make way for an attack to the head. So the first move in the third kumitachi is here, and it's dropping the center. So you're going to slam against their sword, break it off the center line, and then pass through and strike for the head. Okay, so just do this in 2 movements. You're like this, nice and calm, and you go here 1, 2, and that's right to the head. This is good to practice in this case. You can cut down to the center, but in terms of when we practice in partner work, my cut's going to finish right on the head, and I get the person to stay where they are, so I practice really precision. So this is a good chance just to practice that, and it's a slightly different action. You've got the snap, and then here onto the head. And I really want to drive the sword right into the center of the head. This is classic Shomanuchi work. So I'm clearing the line and then pressing onto it. Here, clearing the line and then straight onto it. Just that. So it should cut straight through the body. Yeah. So this is actually a tricky movement. Boom. Okay, there's a big difference in this. Sometimes when I do kendo, this is like saber rattling. So we do this kind of. So I'm testing the person and I'm getting them to get nervous. So but this move is not really kendo. This is not like saber rattling. This is just a boom, slam the person's sword away. So this needs to be like a shock for the person. So when you're here, it needs to come from a state, not from being noisy and kind of, or something like that. It needs to come from total stillness and then boom, then you hit the sword away. So the best way to practice this is just with anyone. Get them to meet the sword, and if they can spot the tap, they just drop the sword. So you go whoa, and they drop the sword. So if they can avoid it, they will. So this is the best way to do it. We can do this in partner work. The best thing to just focusing in solo work is just make the sense that it's really like an instant thing from the center. So it's this from the center, and you notice it snaps back to the center. So it's doing like this, boom, like this. But it needs to also be effective. I can't just push the sword away. The person can resist that. So I need to give them a shock. Bam! So they need to receive that. That's the kind of shock I want to give them. So it's a bit like a kind of, it's like an electric shock to the person. It goes, whoa, like this. So I want to make them panic, open the guard, and I want to freeze them in place so I can hit them in the head. Boom, 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 boom. It goes like this. So I also need to surprise myself. So this is a bit of a strange one. Should kind of come from nowhere. Not the easiest movement. Yes. That's it. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, this is a really tricky one because the hips are doing something quite strange. So just watch this, the hips aren't doing this. So they're not pushing out. If I push out like that, I leave myself totally exposed to the person. So it's a strange movement, but the hips are doing this. They're doing that, but it's a really soft movement. It's not something like that, which is a push. So this is a push, and what you want is like the sword's connected to the center. That. So all this time we do these kind of percussive impacts with the sword. Ba-bung, ba-bung, ba-bung. This is the same. So it's a percussive impact to the sword. So it's that from the center, but it's not a push with the hip. Something else. This will leave you exposed in terms of the sword work. So just give it a try. Yeah, that's it, Adrian. You got it. You got it. It's more like that. Yeah. It's more like that.
Now I've lost it.
Now you've lost it. Yeah, no problem. You had it. Nearly. Yeah. Nearly. Yeah. You're on the right track. That's it. It's like a snap. It's like a kacha. But it's actually quite soft. It looks quite aggressive when you see it, but it's actually pretty soft because it needs to be quite silent. The more aggressive I am with this, the more it's seen. So it needs to be quite hidden, the movement. Okay, watch this. I can see it all the time. Just watch this part of the neck. Watch this. This is a bit tricky, but this is it might be hard to see in Zoom. I can't really show the computer because of it. Watch this. Something happens like this. If something doesn't happen in the arms first, something goes like in the neck, and then that. So this is when I'm looking for my 𝒊𝒂𝒂 with I look for this. So I look for the neck to go, or I look for the face to go, and then I know they're going to attack. So this is these kind of cues you're looking for, and this is like quite micro signaling, but this is like the point in the solo work that I can get rid of this kind of stuff. So I need to be like a kind of ghost in the body. So if I feel like this, and then that happens, I need to feel like no one's home, and then it comes. I want to lull them into a trap. So they should feel like, oh, no one's home, and then boom, and then boom, and then it hits them. So that's the point in good swordsmen. You see, they go like hidden, totally within the body. So, and that's the kind of quality you want in the sword work, because when you know you'll face someone like this who's hidden, you know you're in trouble. So that's when you really need to be on guard with the person, and that's what will make you tense, because you go, oi, no, I don't know where they're going to attack from. And that's the kind of quality you want to kind of get in the sword work. So just have the sense of this. It's actually really a calm state, and then boom, just comes from that, and then boom, the attack comes from that. So this is a kind of, it's a tricky area, but it's one where the solo work you can really focus on. That's it. So yeah, bring it together now, so you can kind of do the tap and the cut through. So you're doing now like this. You've got this, and be really calm, and then you go like this. Whoa, straight in. So go straight in one movement now. This is really what I'm looking for in the opening. Whoa, straight in. That's it. Okay, great. Good. Okay, so that's the intention. So as I do, all the kumitachi have this kind of nice pattern where I go for plan A, and they change they see plan A, and they do something else. So I've got to change plan A. It won't work anymore. So basically, as you've done this, and I'm going into the attack, the person's already gone around, and they've hit either the arm or they've hit their head. If I continue with that attack, so that plan now to do this and then this will fail. So what I do now is keep the original intention to do that, go forward, and I meet it back now. So I go back into a block. But for the kumitachi to be interesting, I need to keep that original intention. because I can do all the kumitachi with a sense that I'm just performing a pattern, and it's boring as hell once you've got the form. But training the intention is where the training's really at with the kumitachi. So when you do this, get the sense that as you do it, this and then pulling back. So you got this really nice moment where I need to change my intention totally. So just play with this. You go here, this, forward, and then back. And to do that well and contained and balanced, that's really a tricky thing to do. So this. That's it. Just give it a try. That's it. Yeah. Watch this now. Watch this pattern. If I'm used to the hips doing that, as I do this, watch this. It does that. If I do this with the leg, it's really too slow. You've been hit already. So again, get the sense that the hips can just go back. So I really need, this is the teaching from the second Saburu, the hip can really fold back. And all this go no at it, the hip can fold back. So this is the case when you really use it. I don't want the hip to go around. This will really not go well. So get a sense that you do that. The hip goes right back. That's it. That's it. So it's really holding the line. So I'm not deviating off the line at all in this one. Totally down the line. Oh, no time. Okay, go to right to the last move. The last move is actually easy. So it's like this go into a block, and then you pull back, and then you engage the hips through in the cut. So this is really a finishing cut straight through the body. Do 1 into the block, and 2 into the cut, engaging the hips. You go 1, 2. So it's a really short kumitachi. Good. There we go. Done. Nice. Okay, so it's not quite so easy. Watch the last movement. You don't just pull back. So it's not just this and this. This is like really basic way, but this is where I will just get blown back. So in terms of solo work, where you can really practice it, this, and now as you go in, my feeling is not to engage back, but to engage through the cut. So I'm pressing the weight through the sword like this. It's not, again, it's not a pushing forward, it's an expansion through the cut. So it's this, and then the expansion goes through the cut. So my feeling in this case is not to hit the sword, it's to cut straight through the person. That's my intention. And I create the space so that I can do that with the sword rather than onto the person, which you can't train. But it needs that, I need to have that feeling where I'm actually here and then cutting through the person. Boom, right through to the center of them. So it's 1, block, 2, engaging. You can also just do this on the spot without going back at all. So the movement is to engage through the cut, not to pull back. Yeah, that's it. So you tap, step back, and then go through. Okay. Good. Boom. Good. We'll do one variation because this is really coming off the line. You're going to go this way. You're going to go here, back, block, and then what you're going to do, rather than going back at all, you're going to go around, and you're going to attack the back of the neck. So as they come in, I'm really attacking the side of the back of the neck. So you go like this, in, draw back, and then weight's on this foot. So I press through it, rotate, and press the weight through. And my feeling is really to hit the back of the neck and drive the hips through it. So not a nice movement, but it goes like this. Dong. Beautiful for the hips. But it's really right to the back of the head. This way. So this is like a 90-degree turn through the hips. So it goes one, block, and then all the way through the head. Goes that way. Let it try. So this is really coming off the line, obviously. So yeah. So all the variations deal almost with the same problem. So watch this. If I go here and I pull back with the body, this is exaggerated, but all my energy is now leaking to the back. So really get the sense that when you're here, I'm going to really penetrate the ground there. So the body's hitting the ground here, and that impact will pass through the sword through to the body. If I do this, I'm splitting the body up. So just get the sense that when you do this, you go here, here, and then I pass the weight of the body into the ground here, and then through it. You can also do that movement really slow, but just play with it. You can also do both sides, but it's the feeling of coming through and really grounding the body down. Actually, you're corkscrewing the body down. You're not grounding it. Grounding, like screwing the body up. You're really like entering into a spiral. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So the impact in the sword and the ground is the same thing. Boom. Boom. There we go. There we go. That's it. Oh, whoa! There's that. Do one more. This is a nice one. It goes like this. This is really a control. So you're in this position. I curl around and I find the back of the sword and I press it into the side of the head. It goes like this. This is a disabling one. This is not a killing blow. Well, it could be a killing blow. I'm going to do it in a way where I'm going to try and control the person. But you've got this, and then as I come through, keep the right hand on the sword, rolls through, and then this hand goes through. Goes this way. So this again, it's always working with the same theme, delivering the weight down and out. Go. So this is really like a strike. So it's like this, and then that. You got one block, two. And it's a bit of a tighter angle because I'm actually passing a little bit into the line. Because they're coming around, I can go a little bit into it. And it's much closer now because I've not got the tip of the sword as leverage. I've just got the back of the blade, or the back of the sword. That way. That's it. There we go. That's it. Oh, good. Oh. Yeah, same issue. Yeah. So just go through all of them. You've got the 1, 2, 3. So the variations like dong, dong, basic. And then this variation is like this: 1, block. Yeah, it's a bit low to the side. And then the third one is bong, block, in. Okay. And just run through them, last minute or so, and just get the sense that the ground is the priority. So my relationship to the ground is the priority. So the ground and then the out. Down, out, down, out, down, out. It's always going to have that same kind of quality. So the down is the priority. And then the out follows from that. So the down, out, out, down, 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 out. Boom. Play with them. And if you find any others, just follow them again. There's tons for this one. Tons of variations. Boom. Oh, yeah. That one doesn't work. Yeah. That's it. Good. Nice. Right. Okie dokie. We'll stop there. So number 3 is a nice one. I tend to start when I'm teaching the KUMITACHI, start with number 3 just because it's a nice simple one. But also when you get into the details of it, it's like deceptively simple. It's one of those because a lot of the movements, they require like really fine tuning in terms of center work and connection work and all that kind of stuff. So really an interesting form. So we'll kind of look at a few more as we go through the weeks, whatever, as we go. Okay. So, どうもありがとうございました。どうもありがとうございました。Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you so much.
Yo.